Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're attending, and welcome to another edition of What's New with VETRO. Thanks for joining us today, and we're going to get right into it here. So introducing our panelists for today, same as usual, my name's Brock, here from the marketing team at VETRO, and today I'm joined by Pat Edwards and Will Jonas, two of our product managers here at VETRO. If you want to say a quick hello, guys.
Hey everyone, looking forward to showing you some new things.
Yeah, hey everyone.
All right. On today's agenda, really packed agenda today. We've got some cool stuff for you. We're going to show a bunch of new and old features within the platform, view plan data by map extent, density optimization, fiber paths table, a couple of other cool things. And then we're also going to be showing a really cool movie trailer today. So unlike at the movie theaters, please don't turn off your mobile devices for this one. You may need those. And then just a quick reminder before we jump into things, the chat is going to be live throughout the webinar. Please submit your questions through the Q&A function within Zoom. And same as last time, there may or may not be a swag giveaway for best questions we get. So make sure to get your questions in. And with that, I'm going to hand off to Pat to start off our demos.
Cool, thanks, Brock. All right, let me just share my screen. All right, so today I'm going to go through a few features that we've released recently. I'm also going to go over some of the larger features we released earlier this year and last year, just to go through some little hidden things that maybe you haven't noticed or haven't explored yet. Just a good opportunity to go over those really big, valuable features. As Brock said, please drop any questions in the chat as we go. If we have time, we'll come back to them at the end. We usually have plenty of time. And if we don't, we'll get back to you later on those. So the first feature I wanted to go through is really just a small, it might seem like just a small quality of life feature, but we actually added it after getting a lot of feature requests and comments about performance in VETRO. So one of the common reasons that we see users experience lag when using VETRO is when there are a large number of layers or plans selected at once. So sometimes I'll see customers with all of the plans selected in their whole instance. And there's a really good reason for doing that. It can be cumbersome to go through and find which plan you're interested in using. So sometimes you maybe just turn all the plans on that you're going to use that day and then navigate through VETRO to do that. But because that can lead to some performance issues, we decided to add a new button, and the button is hopefully you've seen it by now, but if you haven't, it's this one here. And if I go and click that, it just toggles on just the plans that are visible here. So that means that you don't need to worry about finding which plan matches with where you are in the map. The way that button works is that if you're in this rectangle here that I've got on my map extent, it's just going to search for any plans that are within that rectangle and toggle them on. If you move to a different area of the map, it'll toggle this plan off and just toggle on the ones that are visible. So just to demonstrate that, we can see I've got all of these plans selected for this particular area. There's multiple plans here. But if I zoom in on just one feature, which is just going to be in that one plan, and now I hit this button, we'll see over here that these plans will turn off when I click this button. And in that way, it just makes sure that you've only got data being pulled down into VETRO that's relevant to what you're looking at. So that's one way that you can improve performance in VETRO if you're finding that things are a little bit laggy. There are some limitations with this feature. So if I zoom all the way out to the whole of the United States, just because we don't want to toggle on all plans within a network, this button gets disabled. The sort of threshold for zooming in is when you get to zoom level 10. You'll see that button becomes available. The way to see you're at zoom level 10, it's always in the URL. It's that first number here after that hash. So yeah, once you're past zoom level 10, you'll be able to click that button and turn on the plans that are within that map extent. The other limitation is we don't have this working for layers. It only works for plans. But we think that's enough to really help with some of the performance issues and make it a lot easier to manage your plans that you're looking at. And because I mentioned performance, I thought it would be a good opportunity just to give another plug for our density optimization feature. So density optimization is a fancy way of saying we make the map perform a little bit better when you've got a lot of high density points. So a good way to illustrate this is just I'll toggle on these layers, and let's zoom to Vermont. So I've got all my service locations here. This is a common sort of application for the density optimization. At this high zoom level, it makes sense to look at these as little house icons. It gives you that extra context that they're a service location versus something else like a vault or a pedestal. But when you're zoomed out, it's hard to really see a lot of the detail anyway. We filter out a lot of the detail to improve map performance. But the way to get the best of both worlds, where you're seeing all of the detail of where the service locations are with good map performance, is to use density optimization. To use density optimization, it's just like using any other theme in VETRO, any other style. You go to the update star menu, and it's in the advanced settings. So that's why I'm showing it today, is a lot of people have missed it, or maybe have forgotten where it is. So if you just go into the show advanced scale settings and you get all these extra options, we added this preset within this menu called density optimization. If you hit this, it will automatically, adjust the styling settings so that when you're zoomed all the way out, those service locations now will appear as little dots, as little circles, and they render really fast. So you can have a whole city being visualized without any real map lag when you're using this particular style. But then when you're zoomed in, they automatically return back to being little houses. You can play around with icon sizes as well. If you want to make sure that the icons stay a little larger when you're zoomed all the way in, you can do that. But we set a preset, which is that density optimization preset. So yeah, if you or a colleague are finding that the map is being a little bit laggy, just make sure that you don't have your service locations or any other point layer being styled without density optimization. Density optimization is the best way to get good map performance. And then if you use this show plans in the current viewport button, that will really help you as well. All right. Another feature, the most recent feature we released, hopefully you saw the little announcement we added, was a dynamic line length calculation. So yeah, if you've been drawing any lines in VETRO lately, you've probably noticed this. So just to demonstrate this really quickly, you don't have to do anything special. It just works automatically. If I go in and start drawing a line, you can see this box here just dynamically is updating as I'm drawing that line. We added this for a few reasons, really. We had a lot of feedback that it would be helpful to know the distances while drawing spans between poles. Often there's real world constraints in the distance you can have between two poles. And so customers were telling us that they would be using the measure tool and then referring then, looking at the map, seeing that point-to-point distance, using the measure tool, and then going back in and drawing that line. So we're hoping that this just streamlines that process. This is the first feature in a whole array of upcoming features that aim to make it more time efficient to draw networks, in particular underground networks. So do keep a lookout for improvements over the next few weeks, as we'll be rolling them out just as they're ready. So just like this one, we released it as soon as it was ready, so that you can start getting in and using it. And yeah, if you've got any questions or comments about whether this has been useful, please let us know. We'd love to get feedback. I will just point out one little limitation, or I guess caveat, with this feature. The line length we're showing here is never going to include anything to do with the sag factor or the helix factor. So if you look at the distance and it's 1,000 feet, and then you save the feature and the distance says it's 1,020 feet, that's because it might have applied the cable, the sag factor and the helix factor that wasn't being visualized in this case. So it's just showing the ground length of whatever line you're drawing. All right. One of the next features I'll go through, we released about a month ago, and it's related to parent-child relationship updates. So one of the advantages of using any fiber management system like VETRO is that you can have associations between equipment and other network elements that equipment is contained in. So for example, you might have a cabinet that has a splitter in it, or you might have a customer record that has a service location associated with it. So that's a common use case for our ZManager customers. What will often happen is that one of their own customers will express interest through the ZManager page, and then that will create a customer record associated with a service location. So I'll just turn on, breaking my own rule here, but I'll just turn on all the plans so we can look at the customer records really easily. So if I go to look at this customer record table in the attribute table, so all of these customer records have been submitted through a Z Manager page, so a web portal that's publicly available, and they all get associated, or they can all be associated with a service location. So if there's an MDU, there might be multiple customer records, multiple customers that have expressed interest for getting service at a particular service location. For other FiberMat users who don't use Z Manager, you might see this with ONTs. You might have multiple ONTs at a single service location to serve an MDU. Whatever that child data is, whether it's an ONT or a customer record, sometimes we do want to export that into another system like a spreadsheet or reporting software. And when doing that, it can be useful to have a little bit of extra context on what that equipment is contained in or what service location that record is assigned to. So VETRO, we make it easy to manage the associations within FiberMap itself. It's really easy to go in here and see, okay, this customer record is associated with this parent feature, and I can open up that in the attribute table. I can zoom to that service location if I want to. We make it really easy to do within this table. But what happens if you're outside of VETRO? You lose that association. So we had some customers that asked us to, multiple customers asked us to add some functionality so that when they export the customer records, whoever's using that report downstream can still see what service location is associated with and get some extra information about that service location. So to demonstrate that, I just go to the export button in the attribute table. I select the attribute CSV in this case, and then include parent attributes. If I generate that, that just exports it straight away. I don't need to go to the reports table. I can just open that up in a spreadsheet. And when I do that, I'll see that in addition to all the customer record attributes, if I go all the way to the right, it's now giving me information about the service location. So they've all got this parent underscore service location and then the status for that. So if you had a good example is if you had the zip code on that service location or the address on that service location, that's now all visible when you export the customer records as well. That's been really useful for a lot of our Z Manager customers, but we expect that if you're associating ONTs with a service location, this could also be a really useful feature as well. So yeah, any questions about that, please drop them in the chat and we'll get into that. But yeah, we released this one about a month ago, and so hoping that you've had a chance to get in and use it, and if not, that you'll have a go after today. All right, the next feature I'm going to talk about is really quite a big feature. We released this last year. It's the fiber parts table. And I wanted to talk about it today because we've had a few customers recently express that they haven't been getting the full value from the tool. And so I thought this webinar would be a good opportunity to dig into some of the hidden features and functionality, address some misconceptions with the fiber part table, and hopefully get more people using it in their day-to-day work at VETRO. So just to start this demo, I'll go to a feature that I know has a lot of fiber parts already that I've saved in my bookmarks using the deep links. And when I say it has a lot of fiber parts already, I don't mean that I've gone in and created fiber parts. Anytime I've done any splicing that's been upstream or downstream from this FAT, it's been creating fiber parts dynamically. That's what the core backend of the fiber parts table is, dynamically generating these fiber parts. So you don't need to create them. Okay, so I've used my deep link that I've saved as a bookmark to open up this particular FAT, so I can get to my fiber parts really easily. I'll open up the fiber parts table and we'll start to dig into that. The first thing I want to point out is we've got this mixture of fiber path status here. We've got NA, which means it's an available fiber path that doesn't have a status yet. We've got circuit. We should also see, if we go further through, we've got some reserved fiber paths and some leased fiber paths. So these are all examples of stored fiber paths. So I can filter this table to say, show me all of the stored fiber paths. So that'll show me any fiber path that is a circuit or reserved or leased. And these are all special fiber paths. This means that if you go to edit one of the splices, or if you go to edit one of the cabinet locations or the cables, and that cabinet supports one of these fiber paths with circuit, then you have to take some extra precautions when editing that and using circuit editing to make sure that you're not corrupting the circuit and any extra data you've got associated with it. But we do know that it's really useful to be able to save a circuit and go through and refer to its trace or generate a circuit inventory report. And so we decided to make it really easy to generate these fiber paths quickly. So you don't need to go in and individually label a circuit. You can just open up the fiber path table and it will automatically generate all the fiber paths that could be used. And so I just want to address that misconception here now is that we hear a lot of customers thinking that they have to go in and create circuits to use the fiber paths table. You don't. The only thing you need to do is go in and start splicing. So let's say, as an example, I hadn't done any splicing in my instance right now. If I went to my CO and spliced these fibers into the CO and then went ahead and spliced this particular, these two cables together in this FAT, that would generate a fiber path. It would be a small fiber path going from the CO to the FAT. And then if I go to this next FAT and I do some more splicing, that will create more fiber paths. And that goes all the way through to the service location. So what I can do, right now I'm looking at all the fiber paths, but I can use this quick filter to say, show me all the fiber paths that are currently ending at a service location. So what these are all service locations that I've completed my splicing to. All of these service locations have got a plan for splicing, and there might not be circuits, but I can still export this. I can still export this to a splicing crew or to maintenance crew to show them, all of these customers are served using these particular fiber paths. Now, the splicing crew might not have access to the fiber paths table in the application, so they won't be able to see this trace, which might be really useful. But we've made it possible to still export some of that detail. The way to do that is by clicking this export button here and making sure you include the path summary in the exported report. So what that does is it creates a report that looks a little bit like the circuit inventory report, except that it's just got a few extra attributes and some more detail on what that path is made of. So I'll just go to the reports section of VETRO and download that report. It's in my activity section because I just created it, and I'll download it and open that here. All right, so if I open up this spreadsheet, these are all of the fiber paths. So some of these are circuits, but all of these ones at NA, we haven't created a circuit here, but we have done the splicing for them, right? So this is why it can be useful for people who are in the field trying to understand what splicing needs to be done, what devices are upstream and downstream of equipment that they might be installing. So we get all that detail. We see the color of the first fiber that's coming out of the OLT. We see the color of the fiber that's being installed, which is typically going to be blue or orange if it's an MDU maybe. But we also see the street address, right? So anytime we create a fiber path that ends at a service location, we're going to automatically, VETRO will automatically add the street address to that fiber path. So you can see that, you can see the strand length. And then if I scroll all the way over to the right, we've got this extra detail here, which shows the trace. And while it is compressed, right, it is all in one column. The feedback we've gotten is that's good detail. We can, someone can go in here and look and see, okay, this fiber path is composed of these elements in this order, and get a feel for the layout of the network in that way. This table, has got a lot of information. It might have more than they want. Maybe you do just want something like a circuit inventory report, right? To do that, you can just go through and say stored fiber paths only, right? So now if I hit export, I'm not going to get all of the fiber paths, just the ones that I've added as circuits. And that starts to get a little bit closer to what the circuit inventory report does. And that was one of the reasons we added this export is to give an alternative to the circuit inventory report. This is runs a little bit faster, and it's something we're going to continue to evolve and support really. All right. One other thing with the fiber paths table, which is pretty cool, is that you can create circuits from it as well. So as I said at the start, creating circuits can be a little bit cumbersome sometimes. We understand that. So we've made it possible. So if I just show all the available fiber paths, so these are fiber paths that haven't yet been set as a circuit. If I turn it on edit mode, I can select multiple fiber paths and I can edit the status. So I won't hit this button here, I can hit it now and I'll just undo it. So yeah, I've selected those fiber paths and then I'm editing the status. And so now all those fiber paths, they'll all show up as circuits. And I can go back and, I can select these circuits and I can edit the status and make them available. So I can make them a circuit, and I can make them not a circuit as well. And then I can filter on that. It's a very configurable table. If you don't want to have all the columns as well, you can go in and say, don't show me I don't care about the start tube or the start strand, but I do want to see my end-to-end DB loss. If I've recorded that, you can make sure that that's in this table. If you've got a length for the trace as well, we can add that. And any data you've got on your circuit, you can make a column in this table, and you can have that as part of your export. Yeah, that's everything I wanted to go through with the fiber paths table. So yeah, today I went through some features that we've released recently over the last few months, but also some features we went through last year. We really want to make sure that everyone, both on this webinar and not on this webinar, can see the features that have been released lately. So the way to do that, if you feel like maybe you've missed something, we've got this little help center down the bottom here. If we click on that, we can see what's new. So this has got the latest release information for these particular releases that we've added to this doc here. So you can go back and check on those. So we can see in May, this is us letting everyone know that the line drawing now shows length. So if you ever just come in here and you say, I don't have time to look at this, and click out of it, you can just really quickly go in and look at that here. And then if you find that you wanted to go back a little further in time, you can look at our release notes in the Help Center. The platform literacy team, as always, does a great job documenting everything, including all the release information. So you can find that on the main page of our Help Center. You can see what was released most recently, and then I can go in and see all of the release information for last year as well, if you really want to try and catch up. All right. I hope I've seen some questions come in as we've been going. I think we'll handle them at the end. I'm really excited to see what Will is going to talk about. And I hope you are too. So yeah, I'll hand back over to Brock and to Will as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Pat. Great demo as always. Get the screen share going here again. Okay, folks, this next part is something a little new that we're going to be trying out here. We're going to show a little video here that hopefully will get you excited for the next feature we'll be talking about. Bear with me for a moment while I get the video set up. And hopefully all of the audio will come through great here. So without further ado, introducing Field Ops of Dreams.
Even as a kid, I knew that designing my first fiber network would lead to big things.
If you build it.
I knew that serving my community with the fastest, most reliable internet would always be my life's passion.
If you build it.
But today, it's time to expand, and I'm worried about future-proofing my network. I'm worried that we don't have a good change control process. How will we keep track of all the critical details? And once we're done building, how can we ensure we're maintaining a quality network? How would I stay in control of the connectivity and the documentation between the office and in the field?
If you build it.
I needed to find the answer to managing and protecting my most valuable asset. There has to be a way. Then one day, the answer I needed arrived. The solution to airtight quality assurance, effortless documentation, and control over every connection.
If you build it, manage it with VETRO Mobile.
Suddenly, my future was brighter. VETRO Mobile would be the key to bringing my field dreams to life.
You'll be more productive.
With VETRO Mobile, my team was in the field every day, documenting accurate changes to our network in real time.
And always be in the know.
And I could rest easy at night, knowing I always have the world's best fiber management system right in my pocket.
For the best possible result.
With VETRO Mobile, the dream of a bigger, better, more profitable network would become reality.
Control your fiber with VETRO Mobile.
And with all the time I saved, there would be only one answer when my kid asks, "Want to have a catch?" I'd like that. Thanks, VETRO Mobile. Okay. Well done, VETRO marketing team strikes again. Big shout out to them and VK especially for putting that trailer together. For those of you who've seen our amazing swag at trade shows, VK is the mastermind behind combining the fiber and pop culture worlds together. So bravo to the marketing team. Really excited today to be announcing our VETRO mobile app. I want to especially thank all the customers who have submitted feedback and insights related to mobile and your field use cases. We really do appreciate that and have used that to really build out an amazing app for mobile devices. VETRO Mobile is a radically simple, purpose-built application, much like VETRO Fiber Map. It is supported on both iOS and Android. So in addition to providing your field teams your network data access that looks, feels, and performs like VETRO, what I'm really excited about is we've built this really robust change management interface that sits between FiberMap and mobile. There are two main areas where I think this tool is incredibly valuable for your teams. The first is just QA, so general field survey data collection, whether that is planning, design, walkout QA, or perhaps even managing some of your as-built QA, red lines, things like that. Secondly is on the operational side. So whether it's triaging maintenance or trouble tickets, or perhaps even supporting your workflows that support drop and install tasks. All things that VETRO Mobile is purpose-built to be able to handle and really improve the efficiency across your teams, those working in the office and FiberMap and also out in the field. Brock, we can go next slide. So this is our change management interface that I spoke about. This is really about empowering and creating efficiency between your field and office teams. This isn't just an app that puts VETRO in your pocket. It allows for real-time changes to be captured and put into a change backlog interface where everything's tagged, time-stamped, and can quickly be approved by your editors in the office. This allows for users to quickly keep up to date your system of record while also creating this audit trail of when and what changes have been submitted from the field. So if you're struggling with getting changes back from your field teams, whether that's via emails or paper markups, you have to scan documents back in to get things up to date. This combined with VETRO Mobile will be a real game changer for you and your teams. So VETRO Mobile allows for full offline data capture. It has location services so you can quickly get driving directions to any feature asset in your network design or system of record. Really easy adoption, no configuration needed. We were really going after a simple purpose-built application that we're known for with this. So really excited, really proud of this product. And I think our customers, I think you all who are attending, and please reach out to your account manager if you're interested in this. I think Brock can go next slide. So here's just a little GIF of the mobile app in action doing a splicing change. So yeah, if you're interested in this, please reach out to your account manager for more information. We'd love to talk to you. And
Awesome.
Brock, I'll hand it back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Will. Really exciting. This is something that we've had in the works for a long time, really inspired by feedback from customers. So really happy with how it's turned out and excited to share more with you all. Please make sure to stay tuned to our social media, our newsletter next week. There's a lot more info to come about this, so keep your eyes peeled. Quick housekeeping here. Just wanted to remind you all about some of the big events we've got coming up the rest of the year. You know, the VETRO team is on the road year round, but some of the bigger ones for the rest of the year include Fiber Connect, Mountain Connect. We'll be at ISE. Connected Britain will be at Calix. We've got AfricaCom towards the end of the year. Lots of events that are coming up. So if you're going to be at any of these, please do reach out. We'd love to meet up and hang out, get to see you, hear what you're doing, talk through any of your questions. We'll be around. And with that, I think it's time for some Q&A. I've seen lots of good questions coming in here. So quick reminder, it's not too late. You know, we've got a few minutes here. If you've got some more, keep throwing them in. We will be giving, if you ask a question, you will be entered into a draw for a VETRO swag bag. So if you got a question, now is a great time to ask it. Bear with me for half a second here while I grab our first question. Okay, here's a good one from a newer user to VETRO. Awesome, yeah. Welcome, excited to have you here. This question, so is there any type of feature when drawing out plans that would be helping me with hotkeys for setting vaults, handholds of various sizes? Are there any other hotkey shortcuts that can be shared, for different sizes, make it easier to place and design at a faster pace?
Yeah, I can answer that one, bro. I saw that one come in. So hotkeys, no, there is though an autosave feature that a lot of our customers will use for this use case. So it sounds like this particular user is trying to design really quickly. You don't want to have to keep going back and changing attributes or changing which layer you're using when you're placing them. What I've seen a lot of customers do is they'll get ready to place all of their medium bolts at once, and then they'll set that up and then toggle the, and we'll get someone to reach out to you and give you a little overview of how to use this feature. But it's really easy. You go in, set those attributes, scroll to the bottom of the feature edit panel and tick the box that says autosave. And then every time you click on the map, it's going to drop a feature with those attributes and of that layer. So that's the way I would say to get around it. But as far as hotkeys, yeah, great idea. Thanks for that suggestion. Hopefully the autosave will help you design a little bit faster.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Pat. Another good one here. This one came in, I think, towards the end of your presentation. What if I don't have the customer selection in my equipment dropdown?
Right. So customer records, that's a layer that's only available right now to ZManager customers. So that's for customers that have got a portal that they can have their own customers come to register interests for the network. So we set up a publicly facing website that they can go to. And then part of that is they get that customer records layer with that product. If you've got a use case where you think customer records would be useful, please, we'll reach out to you because there are some things happening at the moment where we want to learn more about the ways that customers are thinking about their own customers and addressing and things like that. So yeah, we'll reach back out to you. But if you want to use customer records, we have a product called ZManager that you can talk to your account manager about and start using right away.
Awesome. Nice topical one here up next. So all the new and old features shown today, are these available and accessible to smartphones, not only on laptop or desktop?
Okay, yeah, so I'll answer that one because it's about the features I was showing. So, Will can talk more about what the mobile art's going to have. But basically, a lot of the way VETRO Fiber Map is really designed for desktop use. And so the features I showed today are optimized for use on the desktop. But now we have a mobile app, right? And so that's going to change the way that some of our feature requests get handled. So if you have got a feature that you want to use in a mobile setting, absolutely, that's something that we'll consider for, adding to the dedicated mobile app. So rather than trying to make VETRO Fiber Map work really well on the desktop and really well on mobile, we have a desktop app that's purpose-built for desktop. And now we have a mobile app that's purpose-built for mobile that's got all of the things you need when you're using VETRO in the field. So short answer is no. Fiber Parts Table is not available right now in a mobile setting. But if you've got a use case where that could be available, that might be something that we can support in mobile in the future.
Yeah, just to piggyback off that, yeah, mobile, we have a lot of, it's really geared towards specific mobile functionality in those use cases. Some of the features, in terms of being able to manage your attribution and see that information from FiberMap. But yeah, we have more specific tailored tools to the field use cases with VETRO Mobile. But like Pat said, we are interested in your feedback on that. So, would love to have a chat if there's anything specific you're looking for and see how it would apply. I'll lean into the other question from Ryan. Does the new mobile app have follow me GPS connectivity so you know where you are on the map? Yes, it does. So we do have location services. So as long as you have service and your device GPS is functional, you can toggle that on, and it will not only put a point to your map, or it will show you where you actually are, just like Google or Apple Maps. And then you can also select a feature or select a location based on a coordinate, and you can toggle over and actually get directions to that in either Apple or Google Maps, depending on your device type. So yes, that is something we have.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Got
Uh,
time for a couple more here, guys. If that's okay with you, Will and Pat.
Yeah, I can take another one from Jason. Yeah, VETRO Mobile is an add-on feature. It's an add-on product. So please reach out to your account manager if you want to have more information about that.
Awesome. Let's see. Let's do two more. I think we're doing pretty good here. This one, can the measuring tool that was shown work the same way the new line feature shows the footage while using it? I think that's a question.
No, I mean, yeah, good question. So we made, I guess we made the measuring functionality when drawing a line a little bit better than the measure tool. We just did it in a new way. So yeah, for now, the measure tool, you'll have to wait till you click and place that point rather than, I don't know if you noticed when I was doing the demo over and I was like, as you just move, before you click the point of where you want that line to be, it will update the length very dynamically. The old measure tool doesn't do that. So yeah, no improvement there.
Sure thing. Okay, last one here. It's another fiber paths table one. This person likes using fiber paths to trace fibers when they don't know the A to Z point. Love that they can trace out multiple fibers at once. Question is, so a singular fiber, or one thing they wish it had was a report where it shows everything connected in between, showing the fiber number at each connection. A singular fiber trace on the sidebar does this, but is there a way to do the trace with a group of fibers at once?
Yeah, so I think that the export functionality that I showed should help with that. So when you go to the fiber path table, you do your filtering to choose which fiber paths you want to export in the report. Maybe you just want to look at the circuits, or you just want to look at fiber paths that are finishing in a service location. And then when you hit export, make sure you tick that export the paths, and that will make sure a column is available that shows every network element that's in that line. Now, while that doesn't show the fiber number that's used in each splice, one thing it does have is the port number for any equipment. So if there is a multiplexer or any splitters that are on that fiber path, it will always show what port number is that fiber path is coming out of. So maybe that's useful, but yeah, for now it doesn't show the fiber number if there's a splice.
Right on. With that, I think we are at time here, guys. So I think we'll wrap up here. But if we didn't get to your question, don't worry. We will have someone reach out to you with an answer. If you have any additional questions that come up after the webinar, anything you want to talk about, there's a couple of email addresses on the screen there. You'll get an email with the recording from us in a couple of days. So use that opportunity to get in touch. Love to chat through any other questions you have. And then a huge thank you for joining us today. Really good webinar. Hope you learned a lot. Hope you enjoyed the trailer. Hope you're excited. Hopefully this answered some of your questions. And with that, we'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your day.